Let me ask you something. Why were people comfortable seeing Jesus as white for generations, but uncomfortable at the idea that he may not have been? And now the same discomfort shows up over a Black Viking. This ain't about history. This is about conditioning. Hey fam, today we're not just talking about a Netflix show. We're talking about a pattern that keeps repeating itself over and over. Because every time race is brought into the conversation, religion is challenged and history is re-examined, and people react. The series Vikings Valhalla sparked outrage over a Black Viking leader, religious conflict, and historical accuracy. But I want to show you something deeper. And this isn't about Vikings. This is about people who've been taught to accept and what they've been taught to reject. People reacted because a Black woman was portrayed as a Viking ruler, and Christianity was shown in conflict, and history didn't match their expectations. But here's the real issue. People don't react to truth. They react to what contradicts.
Courage is not rare here. This is.
You're a long way from home, Freydis.
I am on a mission to learn my destiny.
Train her.
Let's go again.
The Vikings are still one people.
Point number 4, religion, power, plus narrative. This is exactly what we've been talking about in race, religion, racism. When history is filtered, when images are controlled, and when narratives are shaped, people begin to defend the version that they were given instead of seeking the truth. Jesus said, John 8:32, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." But if the truth is hidden, how can people be free?
One of the more disappointing takes in Vikings Valhalla that's just come out on Netflix is the reaction that people have had to the casting of Caroline Henderson as Jarl Harkon, or Jarl Estrid Harkon, of Kattegat, which is a part in the show. Not a real person, never really existed, is based on a real person, but we'll get into that later on. The obvious reason why this is causing people so much grief is Caroline Henderson is not only a woman, but she is a Black woman. Shock horror. Amazing. And people are absolutely going ape about this all over the internet because they can't wrap their heads around the idea of a fictional character in a fictional place being played by a really good actor who happens to have different coloured skin to what they reckon that person should have. So this video is going to look into why none of that matters and why everybody should just get a bit of a grip on themselves. 2 or 3 main points as to why it doesn't matter a jot why Caroline Henderson is playing this character, and you shouldn't care. Number 1 is this is really very much the lowest bar that the industry could possibly set. I've worked in theatre, and I've worked in film, and I've worked in TV, and let me tell you that having one Black actor on set in a big budget Netflix TV show with a budget of millions isn't a big ask, and this is something that we call colour conscious casting. It used to be called colourblind casting. That's not really a term that we use for it anymore. It's not really a good description of how it works, but what it is the idea that casting should be a case of getting the best local, whenever possible, talent onto your production. Caroline Henderson is just that. She's a local performer. She's Swedish-Danish. She's from Stockholm. She does a great job inhabiting the character of Jarl Harkon and is very convincing. She's an excellent performer. That's it. That is the criterion. Are you good at the character? Yes? Great. Sign here. That's how casting should work. And we have already had loads and loads and loads of brilliant examples of this, like the colour-conscious casting that the Royal Shakespeare Company did of Hamlet a few years ago is another great example of that. And what this is meant to do is redress the balance where 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years ago, The standard in Hollywood and the West End and Broadway was for a white actor to black up or put on yellowface. Christopher Lee put on yellowface to play a Chinese man in a film. Not great, obviously now. Don't really do that anymore. So, this is what we now do, and it's to provide equitable work for actors. Actors come in all shapes and sizes and colours, and it's very base level stuff here. Second thing that we're going to look at is this is a fictional character whose granddad was from Africa and becomes a Jarl of this place that doesn't exist. But the main point to remember about this is it's not a very good programme. Everything in it that's actually historical is wrong, and if you're watching a programme where people are dressing like this and doing things like that and just generally looking like this, and the bit of it that stops your suspension of disbelief is the fact that somebody has different coloured skin, there's a word for that, and it's not a nice one. So, yeah.
So to wrap this up, this isn't about a Black Viking. This is about what happens when truth shows up and challenges what people have been comfortable in believing. So what do? Well, we don't act emotionally. We examine truth, and we don't defend tradition. We test it, and we don't reject new information. We study it, because at the end of the day, truth doesn't change. It never changes. But what we've been taught can be wrong. And when you begin to renew your mind, you start to see clearly. So, with that being said, continue to renew your mind. Enough said.